If you're a podcast host, listen up, this one's for you. My name is Allie Jackson. I'm the host of Finding Mr. Height, a dating and relationship podcast that I've been doing for 4 years now, sharing my positive and practical approach to dating that's built on my own life experience. And I wanted to share another experience that I've had, my secret behind monetizing my show. It's called Red Circle, and I was just telling my colleague about how much I love their platform. With Red Circle, not only am I getting a seamless hosting experience, but I also love the support I receive in ad sales. It's not just typical ad sales either. It's targeted opportunities based on my show and my life. And the platform is super simple. You just set your preferences and Red Circle matches you with sponsors that align with your show. You can vet every opportunity and their platform gives you great analytics. More recently too, my Red Circle team has brought me opportunities outside of my podcast on social media to really augment the podcast partnerships, bring them full circle. I just can't recommend them enough. If you want to give it a try, go to redcircle.com to get your free trial. That's redcircle.com for a free trial.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Alto Call. I am your host, Tane, here with episode 3 of season 19 of Married at First Sight. I have a special guest today recapping with me. It's been a while since we've been trying to link up to have a conversation, but it's finally here. And it is Michael from the infamous Denver season 17 of MAFS. Hi, Michael. How are you?
Infamous is a very kind way to put it. I'm doing great, Tane. I'm glad to finally be here with you. I know, like you said, we tried to make this happen a couple of times, and I'm glad that it finally has materialized.
Yes, me too. Well, I hope no PTSD for you, but we're gonna go through this. I'm gonna throw in some questions, but first of all, what have you been up to? How are you? It's been a minute. What's going on?
I've been acclimating to normal life again. Luckily these seasons turn around pretty quick. So once the Chicago season kicked off, we were pretty much in the rear view. But this has been a unique time because, as you know, Love is Blind is wrapping up. It again highlighted the unique nature of dating in our city. So that's kind of re-energized things in a bit. But in a nutshell, I've been good, just doing my normal travels, reconnecting with, my family and friends.
Yeah. Okay. I know you are a transplant. Do you claim to be a Denverite? What do you call it? A Denver person?
A Denverite, a Colorado native, whichever.
Yeah.
I think you and I could both agree it would be criminal for me to claim such a thing. I have made peace with the fact that I don't echo the city in many ways, but I will also say it's, I enjoy it here despite that.
Yeah. Okay. But would you say from your time there, how long have you been there now?
We're going on 6 years.
Okay. On 6 years. Is the dating world like this? Is it representative of your experience?
It's a good question. Not in the personalities that were showcased. I wouldn't say I've ran into those personality archetypes. Well, what I will say is that it represents the fact that I do think that dating is uniquely challenging in Denver. And keep in mind, that's coming from someone whose dating experience was primarily in the LA area. So I thought I was coming from the most savage environment.
Yeah.
But I would say that would be accurate. It's definitely challenging.
Okay. I think I'm going to come in hot.
Please.
There are still people who think that you and Chloe were paid actors. Please clear, please clear that up. Like, how were you recruited? How did you apply? What's going on? This is your floor to put this to bed now.
Sure. Well, I'll start with Chloe just because she's not here.
Yes.
I do know for a fact that she wasn't recruited, that she did proactively apply. I believe it was her friends that kind of pushed her to do it. And my guess is that when I got rematched, I'm assuming that they were going to do everything in their power to make sure that we didn't have a similar situation happen again, right? Not only that, by that time, we started to get insight on how the other couples were progressing. So I think they sort of doubled down on, let's try to do everything we can to make this match as best as possible. Because on paper, we did line up pretty well.
Yeah.
And I do think that they were pretty confident that Chloe was very committed to the process, that unless I was like a horrible garbage human being, that she would probably stick it through till the end.
Yeah.
So I think maybe elements of that may have played into that narrative. And just, I mean, she's very good at like how she communicates and being well curated. Yeah. And when you compare that, and keep in mind, we're both older.
Yeah.
You know, one of the things that I wish they would have aired is when we had that conversation with Dr. Pia and she kind of calls us out on not being authentic.
Yeah.
Like I explained to her, I break it down that, look, we have a schedule, Dr. Pia. We know when you're going to be here. So we tap into sort of the same kind of skill set that we would in our professional environment when we're talking to any of the experts. You know, we gather our thoughts. We're not sitting there mapping it out together, but we both have experience of this in the corporate world when we have to be mindful of how we articulate ourselves. So I get why it's coming off that way, but I'm not going to talk to you like a friend because that's not what comes naturally to me. Now, if you feel that would be more effective, then let's do it. But that really didn't get played out there. In terms of me being an actor, no. I mean, I wish I was. You know, that'd have been nice. But to your question about how I was recruited, so someone had reached out to me from their casting department that summer when we were filming. And my understanding, because there were people in my circle that had been reached out to. And my understanding is that even though there's X amount of applicants, they still do like an outbound campaign. And my guess is to kind of round out the cast. So I didn't respond initially. It was through Instagram. And my Instagram, just to be clear, at that time, I mean, it was very small. I've never, like, it was always used just for my own personal use. You know, there wasn't any attempt to like have any type of influence, so to speak. But I think they found me through mutual connections. They followed up with me about 2 days later when I didn't respond. Once they followed up, I mean, I had the person's name. So I looked them up in LinkedIn, saw they were from Kinetic. So I figured, okay, this is legit. And that's how we connected. Once I responded to them, they set up phone calls for me to talk with them. That's when they told me it was going to be Married at First Sight. I even pushed back initially because I told them, look, from my research, because I was familiar with the show, but not that familiar. I was like, look, it looks like you guys base your seasons on cities. I'm not very representative of Denver. Plus, I'm on the older side. It looks like most of your previous cast members were late 20s, early 30s. I'm 38. Side note, I am happy to see that Austin is in a different direction with that, but I'm sure we'll get into that. So I pushed back on it. And even at the end of it, it wasn't a guarantee that I was going to be selected. That whole process of talking with them was to get me to apply. And then from there, I get pulled into the application process. But that's how I got recruited.
Okay. So you heard it here, guys. He's not an actor. He came here looking for love. And I don't know how much you can get into this because I don't think you can. I think it's a yes or no question. Your first bride, did you have eyes on her? Did you see her walk down the aisle? Yes. Okay. So
if I can try to provide a little bit more context to that first wedding, if you'd like.
Yeah, if you're allowed to. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
The only thing I'm not allowed to do that they were very specific on is I can't reveal her identity. Like I can't say her name, which I know what her name is, right?
Okay.
The way it was filmed was assuming that her story was going to be told like normal. Keep in mind, at the wedding, there are multiple cameras. Right? There's one like on a sling on the ceiling. There's at least 3 or 4 people from different angles. So my guess is that they were able to collect enough footage to where they could present it without jeopardizing her identity. Right? So you got a quick glimpse of her walking in. They did it in a way that you didn't see any of her people. I mean, I saw all of her people, which were all ladies, by the way. She didn't have any male guests. And her people interacted with my people. But I think that's why when they made the decision after the fact to cut her, I think that's why it kind of looked a bit odd. It was very clear to us that was a last minute decision. Because I found out about that or we found out about that on our first after party filming. That's when they told us, hey, you can't talk about her. Because I even said, so what's going on? Because when we filmed the first after party, no episodes had aired yet.
Yeah.
So I was like, so is that wedding just cut out? Like, do you guys just allude to it and no one sees anything? And they're like, no, we show some things, but we basically cut her parts out. Because at the altar, we had a little bit of a back and forth. It wasn't just me talking to her.
Okay.
And they did modulate her voice. So when she says, I'm sorry, I can't do this, I don't want to marry a stranger, those were her words.
Yeah.
And the voice was somewhat hers. I think they just kind of messed with it, so it wasn't all her voice.
Okay, that's good to know. Because I mean, so I think some people were like, she broke up with you before she got to the altar, or it was when she got to the altar. But okay, good to know.
Yeah.
Let's just move on to Peacock. How are you feeling about this move to Peacock? I don't know if you still watch the show, but are you like, damn, I wish I was on Peacock. I was during the Peacock season. Or how are you liking the changes and all of the upgrades and things? I call them upgrades because I love them. So
well, no, I was actually curious about your opinion. It's not so much the network change that stood out to me. It's like the release schedule. So now we're kind of on this, what is it, like 3 or 4 episodes that are being released in batches, which I get the reason why. But for a show like Married at First Sight, in my opinion, it would be easier for me to consume either straight episodes like once per week or give it all to me up front. I don't know why. That's just how I feel with that show in particular. I do like the fact that, at least from what I've seen so far, they seem to trim a lot of the fat. Let's call it.
Yes, they have. And I mean, and to answer your question, I'm used to it because of Love is Blind. But as someone who's watched Married at First Sight for how many years from season 1, it's been tradition to just watch it every week. And I think the only thing I miss is being able to like live tweet or live watch with other people. That's the only thing. We're all in different things. You don't want to spoil it for someone. But other than that, trimming the fat, 10 minutes in a wedding, oh my God, I could cry. It was great. So it's good. And I think it's just from the podcaster point of view, it's kind of a hot mess to kind of figure it out, but we can make it work. We're making it work right now. So yeah, other than that, it's great. They're in the network. They're going to have more eyes. And selfishly, I've mentioned this in another episode, maybe they can put some respect on MAFS now and have them on other shows like Traders. I just don't understand why there hasn't been a crossover for you guys. Like, I don't see MAFS participants on other things or, people mentioning names. And we have a lot of personalities that I think can make it work. So that's my hope.
No, I mean, I agree with you in that there's a lot of personalities that make sense from a crossover perspective. I do wonder if that will continue because, again, I feel like this Austin season, in a positive way, could be a turning point there. Because obviously, when you're dealing with people who are older, I think some of the concerns that the audience would have about like are they there for the right reasons? I think a lot of that is mitigated, in my opinion.
Well, as a reality TV connoisseur, it is not mitigated for me because I am watching The Golden Bachelor and there's someone there still talking about clout. It doesn't matter what age.
Look at that. I guess clout knows no age limit.
There you go. At least for me, but I'm a pessimistic ass, so who knows? I should ask, what is your relationship status, Michael?
Right now, I am single and actively dating out here in Denver. I'm actively trying to navigate these waters.
What is going on? What is the problem? Are you the drama?
I'd like to think that I'm not, but I do know. I mean, look, especially getting to see myself and learn about myself through the MAFS experience. Like I understand, what could be challenging about dating me. I'm trying to be better about some of those challenges.
I want to hear them. What are those challenges?
I think I'm very particular with my time because I've been so used to just having free reign over my schedule that obviously when you progress in a relationship at a certain point, there's expectations of how much time you'll be spending together, right? And I think sometimes that's challenging for me to navigate. I may think, for example, look, we've been dating for a couple months. I think seeing each other 2 to 3 times a week is appropriate and balanced.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and there may be a different perspective that no, it should be more of like 4 or 5 times a week. And I think that in particular is a challenge for me, just kind of understanding what's the proper velocity to escalate things.
Okay, you're kind of setting your ways and just
I'm trying to be more flexible. I think I always tend to err on the side of, I don't want anyone to feel like they're being smothered by me or I'm taking up too much of their time.
Yeah.
But I think the counterbalance to that is sometimes, you know, a woman I'm dating may feel that like I'm keeping us stuck too much in a casual zone because they feel like our time spent together isn't increasing at the level that I'd like it to increase, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, hopefully you're not overthinking it. I mean, just go with it. Like
that's for my forever Achilles heel. That's probably the one thing in general I'm trying to be better at, especially when it's relationships, like learning to lead with my emotions and feelings and not having my logic stifle that.
From one overthinker to another, when I met my husband, I didn't have any control. It was just, oh my God, I just want to spend time with you all the time. It wasn't 2 times, 3 times, and everything just follows afterwards. So when you meet the person, all that would be out the window.
Well, look, I am here to take any and all advice that you're willing to give, Tane. So
I got you, Michael. I got you. All right. I know there are people probably screaming like, just get to the episode. We're getting there.
My mornings are chaos. I need coffee that works as hard as I do. That's why I drink Everyday Dose, coffee with benefits. It's rich, delicious coffee boosted with mushrooms, collagen, and nootropics. Everything I need for focus and balance. Ready in 30 seconds. Right now, get 61% off your first Coffee Plus starter kit and over $100 in free gifts. Plus, enter for a chance to win $100 cash or get your entire order refunded. Visit everydaydose.com/podcast or use code podcast at checkout.
And we're going to start with Rhonda and Pat, our little Hondorgs, because they're all over each other. And you know what? Good for them. It's the morning after the weddings, and it begins with us just watching these two make out. And we're supposed to believe that they are just waking up because she bolts out of bed, gets a Mr. and Mrs. hats that she got because she's in lingerie, but she's already wearing a robe. As far as I know, no one goes to bed wearing a robe. So, Michael, I need your expertise here. Walk us through a typical wake-up call when they come in and they're about to film. How do you know when they're coming? Are you like, okay, they're coming, let them in, and then you go right back to bed and be like, oh, good morning. How does that work?
Well, first off, Tane, how dare you assume that we don't just naturally wake up like that? I'm offended. But no, you're right. Like, they don't just have 24. Well, they don't have a person manned there. They do have 24/7 cameras, but we'll talk about that later.
We know, Michael. We know.
That's true. We showed you they do.
Yep.
Blur and all. But we have a schedule. Early on, we don't get that schedule in advance. So they usually tell us, in that case of the wedding and the following day, they tell you like, okay, look, we're expecting to arrive anywhere between 9 or 9:30. Yeah. And so they'll arrive, we'll let them in, they'll set up, and they'll basically tell us, okay, look, you know, we know obviously you're already awake, but try to recreate what that was like this morning. You know, they're not necessarily saying like go full on act mode, but we're going to have to redo that, so to speak.
Yeah. Act natural, but as natural as you were 2 hours ago for us.
Correct. Yes.
Okay. All right. So like I mentioned, these two are horny for each other, and she has already told us that she is looking for sex in a relationship. So she says again that her husband is so hot and she cannot believe how natural everything feels. This man also said that his ex-wife didn't put out, so I'm sure he's making up for lost time, so match made in heaven. The producer goes to Rhonda and is like, hey, you skipped details from last night. Rhonda's like, what you talking about, Willis? I don't know what you're talking about. Producer keeps asking, she keeps laughing. She's like, my grandchildren are going to watch this. And they just keep showing us her telling Pat, it was a beautiful night. It was a beautiful night. So what about this do you relate to, Michael, in terms of like, is there an example of something like maybe you didn't want to talk about, but they kept pushing and you're like, oh my God, I'm just going to say it so they can leave me alone. Did you have a lot of those, or you're an open book though? So I don't know.
I empathize in that when Chloe and I had sex, we knew that, okay,
Yeah.
we tried to be as transparent with the producers and the show of like what was happening when cameras weren't there. But I'll give you a great example.
Oh.
The moment of decision day for the other couples,
yeah,
when you're sitting outside and everything goes crazy,
yeah,
I was supposed to announce to the group that Chloe and I had sex. They said, you know, this would be a good time to share the progress you guys have had because, you know, they're all done with their journey. And because everyone was trying to kill each other, I had to make that. I essentially whispered to Chloe, there's no way that we're going to share that.
Yeah.
So relating that to Rhonda and Pat, I get it, you know, especially in the beginning, and good for them for connecting intimately so early. I think that's great. I think that's a positive sign. I can understand being hesitant about sharing that up front, right? Because I would imagine, and you may be able to speak on this better than I could, but I can imagine, especially as a woman, sometimes, you know, you may be afraid that it's going to be characterized in a negative way that you guys, you know, connected physically right off the bat.
Yeah, I appreciate it. My listeners know I talk about this all the time. I say, even if you're not getting along, have sex. I don't know if that's good advice, but
you got a life coach over here.
I'm just saying, I'm like, you're married, so there's no anything about I actually, it kind of annoys me. We're like, oh, we're married, but we're strangers. I mean, strangers have sex. It's not an argument for me. I'm just like, what are we doing here? If there's a connection, again, going back, don't overthink it. Just do what you need to do. Now, if you have any hesitancy and no one should pressure you to do it and you want to do it, go ahead and just do it because you want to. And I imagine that Rhonda is older. Like, I think she has no fucks to give. She's just going to do what she wants to do. I think my only concern for them is, how long is this sustainable? You know, because they're just on the physical. And like I mentioned on the last episode, she's putting him on a pedestal. She keeps saying he's perfect. She hopes she doesn't disappoint him. And I'm like, girl, you're equals. Like, you bring just as much for him, and just don't put him on that pedestal because, you know, he's a man. He'll probably take advantage of that. I hope not. But, you know, we'll see. So that's my only thing. But I applaud them for, you know, connecting, because if it's been a while for her, it's been a while for him. Hey.
And you're absolutely right. Like, they're married. Yeah, the circumstances may be unique, but if you're feeling it, why artificially put the barrier there?
Yeah. So. Okay. So I'll move on to Brittany and Will, but overall, what is your first impression or impressions about this couple so far, Rhonda and Pat?
I may overuse this word today, but I feel that they're kind of adorable.
Yeah.
Like, just seeing how they're being all cutesy with each other in bed, especially from Rhonda's perspective, you could see how excited she is to be with Pat. I feel the excitement from Pat too, but I think she just radiates that a little bit more. So I might fall into that trap of foolish optimism early on here, because that's how I feel about them.
Oh, that's how it always starts. But
I know.
It's gonna go downhill. Yeah, I think I'm going to put my concerns to the side. You know, living with his mother, I'm retired. I still think his kids not being there is a red flag, but let's get through the honeymoon and then all the drama can come afterwards. Okay, let's talk about Brittany and Will. I wanted so much for them. I'm not feeling them so far. It's just so awkward. And we'll get into their necessary precautions not taken later. But Brittany says that she didn't sleep well. But I'm like, probably because there were sheets. I can't get over her saying that she does not sleep with sheets on. I don't understand it. Do you understand it?
No, because I'm the opposite. Even if it's 5,000 degrees, I'll need even if it's the thinnest of sheets on me in some way, shape, or form.
Yeah, I hope we're keeping Kevin for the reunion, because he has to ask that question at the reunion, because I need answers. They made fun of him about his vocabulary the first few seasons. It comes in again because he's like, you have a voluptuous nugging. And she's like, okay. It's a big head for anyone who doesn't know. He could have said that, but that's not how Will
in fairness, I am not one to criticize someone's vernacular and how they speak.
No, I mean,
as one that is from what I've learned, vulnerable to word salads. Look, we'll use whatever superfluous vocabulary is at your disposal. I'm here for it.
I like what you did there. So they talk about breakfast, and then we find out she doesn't eat pork. He's anti-turkey bacon. He thinks it tastes like plastic. She doesn't like ketchup, and these two are stressing me out. I just want ease and peace, and it's stressful as far as I'm concerned. So she makes a passing comment, though, where she says that she's noticing that he has a lot of opinions, but that's okay. And I'm like, uh-oh, that's not looking good. Like, she's overlooking it, but she's stored it in her memory bank, I think. So he tells us that she's amazing and she's perfect. And then he's like, well, I'm still sleepy, though. It took me a while to fall asleep, but it's not my business to tell. And then he laughs. I was like, did they have sex? But she said they didn't. So I know sometimes people lie to the camera, but did you think that they did? Or what was your take on that?
I would have, at that moment, I did. Obviously, when we get to the end of the episode, that changed. But in that moment, I thought that they did have sex and that she was potentially lying about it. That was my first thought.
I ended up with, it was a everything but situation. Yeah. They didn't have sex, but
they did something.
Some parts were felt.
Yeah, some parts were definitely felt. Maybe her voluptuous noggin was, so.
Was in a certain area. Okay, I am wondering what exactly he meant at that time, but I can bet money, like, I don't think that they hooked up. So that was it for them in the beginning, because we're still going to touch on them later. We meet Megan and Derek, which Megan has 2 N's and Derek has 2 R's. These two with their country music, EDM, is so funny to me because no one should be judging anybody. But of course, they just woke up, but Megan has the glossiest of lips, but she just woke up like that. And she starts discussing Derek's nightmare. And I'm like, you know what? That's a good way to bond. And it made me think about, it has to be weird to have an experience like a nightmare with a stranger. And I know you're not shy, but was there anything you were nervous about where, like, sharing a room with a stranger? I think I had Alexis once, and I asked her, I was like, were you scared to poop in front of a stranger? Like, was that, like, what are the things?
I mean, our first night, Chloe had like a panic attack, which kind of threw me off. And yeah, I mean, those kind of things. So like even that night, showering and kind of navigating, like, is it cool with me being naked? That my mentality was just ask, when it comes to that, just ask and make a comfortable environment to state if you have those boundaries or not. But I mean, yes, you definitely are actively thinking about that the first night.
Yeah. Okay. She says that she didn't want to, this is a confessional. She's like, she didn't want to jump into sex. So they decided to wait a couple of days-ish. And I don't know if that was an editing error. Maybe she filmed that after they had already had sex, but at that moment they hadn't had sex. But how long after do y'all film like the confessionals? Like, how do you manage to keep your tenses correct? Because
you want that. You really want the behind the scenes. I'm here to share it. So anytime you see us in that room, right?
That room, yeah.
It's like a production office we go to. So we go there once a week and we recap the previous week. So we'll have our producer kind of walk us through, okay, hey, all right, we're gonna talk about the wedding. And they'll remind you, use present tense. And they'll walk through it with you. Oh, remember, so talk through what you were feeling that night when you said such and such as you were, changing clothes. So they'll stage it for you. And then it's on you to kind of recall what you were thinking or what you want to talk through in those moments. So we do that once a week.
Okay. And the offices are local, right?
I mean, in our case, they had rented a space that was close to our apartments. Cause when you do that, keep in mind, you're recapping the whole previous week. So that's like 2 hours that we're sitting in there, kind of just narrating the previous events.
Okay. Was there anything that maybe they told you and you were like, I don't remember? Do they roll the footage for you or?
No, they don't roll the footage, which is unfortunate because there were several times where it's not so much the event I didn't remember, they would be like, well, we thought you seemed upset, for example. Yeah. And I'd be like, I wasn't upset, and then they'll try to give examples. Oh yeah, but I mean, I remember I was kind of arguing with them about one of the honeymoon events that I did. It didn't make it on air, but we did this we did this Jeep excursion through the Garden of the Gods, and they were kind of walking through it with me, and they're like, yeah, you seemed a little distant. And I was like, what are you talking about? And I ended up having to somewhat argue what I remember feeling versus what they thought. So that does happen.
Okay, cool. So we do find out that the nightmares actually runs in his family because his dad has them too. But I saw it as a positive. You might as well just get it out the way. She knows this about him, and they can move forward from that. We move on to Jalen and Josh, my favorite couple so far. Oh wait, I didn't ask you. What are your thoughts on Megan and Derek as a couple?
Am I allowed to make predictions this early?
Go ahead. You can do whatever you want.
Now, I'm not saying I want this to happen. Let's be clear.
Okay.
But I think if there's going to be a train wreck, I feel like it's going to be them.
Ooh, why?
Now, this isn't based on any hard evidence right now.
Yeah.
This is just a feeling.
Nothing, anything you can point to, or just a gut feeling?
If I had to really extrapolate something, them along with Will and Brittany, it's very easy for me to visualize them arguing. The difference is, at least from my initial feelings right now, I could imagine, let's take Will and Brittany if they were to get into an argument. Yeah. Will seems to be more aware of not being too aggressive in the argument, whereas I feel like there's a possibility that Megan and Derek, could just be going full speed and at each other. Okay. Could be weird names. I think it's the weird spelling of the
It's the weird names on there. Okay. Well, I mean, if you happen to be right, I'll give you your props, but we'll be watching. I think that for them, the thing I like is they did the thing that I always prefer, where give them that attraction level that they can build on. So they seem very attracted to each other. So they're willing to give more grace in that area. For me, for Will and Brittany, I still can't tell. The words are saying they're attracted to each other. The vibes are not agreeing with that. And I'm just confused as to if it's true or not.
Well, let me ask you this.
Yeah.
As a MAFS connoisseur.
Yes, sir.
I feel like a good initial indicator is your personal assessment of does this couple make sense when you look at them, right? I feel like they really make sense when I see them.
Okay.
I feel they're both attractive people, kind of within the same stratosphere, whoever you think is more attractive than the other, but they're within reason of each other. Do you agree?
Yeah. Yes. No one's punching up. Yes, I can agree with that.
For my own selfishness, is there any couple historically that when you think through that you said to yourself, this is a huge variance between the two, and it ended up, in either case, they either worked out wonderfully or it was the train wreck you suspected because of that inequity?
Michael, when I hang up, I would tell you.
When did you get shy?
Because, there's still feelings. I'm not shy. I'm just, okay, let me think on the spot. Most recently that I can think about is maybe Madison and Alan from last season. And it's not to say that Alan is an unattractive guy at all. It's just, thinking about what it was. And he ended up being like a train wreck. It's just, you can tell what the other person wants. You can tell that when Madison saw Alan, you just knew that she wasn't going to be attracted to him.
I'm glad you pointed that out. I would agree with you. And to your point, I don't think that's a referendum on Alan at all. I think, I think what really makes him attractive was, the type of personality he had. The problem I saw there was that usually when someone is very locked into their fitness, that is a reflection not only of their personal values, but what they want to see and who they're with. And it wasn't that Alan was, in terrible shape, but I think it was pretty clear that wasn't he wasn't locked in, he wasn't a gym nut like that, So I felt I remember thinking through that same thing when I saw them.
Yeah, I do want to clarify. I mean, you guys know, I love me some Alan, so I don't even think he's unattractive. It's just for Madison. But I want to counter what you just said to say that, yes, but then she ended up with David.
But he
goes to the gym, yes, but fill in the blanks. So I don't get it.
That's a strong initial assessment, but if I remember correctly, like he had competed from a bodybuilding perspective, and their like physique can drastically change from on season to off season. And I'm sure like when they were spending time together in the gym, he probably showed her that like, even though I'm not in the best shape, I could still move. I still have a lot of strength. Like I could still put up this heavy weight. So that would be my counterpoint to your counterpoint.
Okay. And one last counterpoint where I would agree with you is that she said that it wasn't about maybe just the end result. It was just that dedication to actually just going all, 5 times a week or dedicated or having that structure. So to her, it was just about having that mentality. So yeah, maybe that's, what it was. Oh, that was fun. Okay.
Yeah, I'm glad we got that out of you. It's okay. Alan, if you're listening, Tane still loves you. I love you too, Alan. So don't worry.
Okay. All right. That was it for them. And Jalen and Josh.
Yes.
They are still happy. Josh says he feels amazing. She's the most amazing woman he's ever seen. They share more kisses. They say they didn't have sex, but he knows it'll happen soon. We know it's going to happen soon. It did happen eventually. And they talk about her mom's wedding. How do you feel about having a mother-daughter situation going on because her mom's getting married?
I'm mixed about it.
Okay.
I like that it's them because I found myself being a huge fan of Jalen. I mean, she's a very attractive woman, but that's the way she carries herself. There's like an elegance and cuteness that she's able to put together that I find really attractive in her. And I find her mom to be very sweet as well when she was kind of talking through her story.
Yeah.
So I like them. The reason why I'm hesitant about it is it feels like a novelty to me. You know what I mean? Like it feels like, oh, well, wouldn't it be fun if we had a mother-daughter match? Let's try to make that happen, kind of thing. So I'm not thrilled about that element of it. If it truly was, through their evaluation process that they really wanted to help these two people, and oh, by the way, we have the added bonus that they happen to be mother and daughter. Fine, but that's the part that makes me a bit hesitant, because now it's inescapable that's going to be a part of their journeys.
Yeah.
And of course, naturally, it should be to an extent. But my concern is that there'll be times where, look, one of the biggest downfalls of our season was the commingling aspect. Right? You agree with that? It will be impossible to not commingle them now.
Yeah. Okay. I think we're way past that. I am a proponent for keeping the couples apart, but not a lot of people are for that. But so you're saying like it's gimmicky. Is that
that is what I'm saying, and I feel like there'll be scenarios where, let's say Josh and Jalen are trying to work through something, and now there will be an outside force to be like, well, maybe we should pull her mom into this, and maybe we should get Chad's perspective on what's going on with them, because look, they're going to be a family unit now. And again, I'm not saying you can dodge that entirely. Obviously, that's going to be a part of it. I just think it might be overused.
Okay, I see what you mean, because I was going to say, regardless, she looked like she was going to call her mom anyways to ask for it. It's just that it's going to be on camera now, so it's just going to be a heavy plot line for both of them, but I'm okay with it. I do think like the show needs some new freshness or something involved, and I'm glad they went this way and older couples at the same time. We'll see what happens with that. And to your point, I wanted to know how this came about. We got a flashback, right, of her talking to Pascal, and then he just called the mom and was like, hey, I heard you're single. And I'm like, was that it?
There's no way.
Did she apply? Was there due diligence? I don't have that much faith. I feel like that was it, but I don't know.
I will guess that I'm just guessing.
Yeah.
That whomever applied, or if they both did, they had referenced the fact that, oh, by the way, my mom is applying also, or oh, by the way, my daughter is applying also. Like that's because I could imagine when you're applying, you're trying to distinguish yourself, and that's a great way to do it. And I agree with you from an audience perspective. Hell, throw whatever curveballs. It's going to make it more entertaining in that regard.
Mm-hmm.
My hesitation is more so, how does that, if our goal is to have these couples work, how does, is this a positive or a negative in achieving that goal?
Do they care about that?
Can we pretend?
Okay, let's pretend.
Let's pretend everyone wants everyone to work out, Tane.
Yeah. I think that's a nice icing on the cake, but I think we moved. Listen, a lot of people came to MAFS from season 12, and now it's the whole Chris season, and there was so much drama, and ever since then.
He was one of your favorites, right?
No. Don't do that. I was like, what? Did I say something? So
I just wanted to check you real quick,
So, and they've gone that way, and it's working for them. We got a lot of people talking. Everyone's talking about the things. So we'll see how this plays out. But so far, so good. But it's always good in the beginning. So they do talk about their mom's wedding. He asked her, what do you want? She said she wants him to be welcoming. And he suddenly says, I need to talk to you about something. I'm like, oh God, is it his mom? His dad? No, he already said his dad. So what is it? He's like, oh, my business partner wants him to do like a post-nup, and he's been dreading asking her. And she says, my career is important to me. If you wanted me to be a stay-at-home mom, he's like, no, I don't. She's like, oh, okay. Yeah, I want to work. And he wouldn't want that. She's like, okay, I'll sign it. It's not an issue. Many, many things to say about this. I do think she was going to say, if at any point you want me to stay home and take care of the kids, it's a job. She did say it's a job. I need to be compensated for that. So I don't know what you think is going on over here. I like to work, but if I'm taking care of those babies, you will pay me. But he cut her off. So that didn't happen. And I do think she gave the right answer. I do think that people on reality TV, I don't know if it's just for entertainment, tend to overreact to prenups and postnups. It doesn't mean you're looking for the end of your show. It's just like getting insurance. You hope it doesn't happen, but if it does, we hope that we're compensated for it or protected by it. But did you get to sign any postnup, prenup? I don't know.
So the contract that once you're chosen, so when they surprise you and say you're going to get married, that night is when you do all the paperwork. So there's a built-in prenup to our contracts. But like Chloe and I, we got a postnup.
Okay.
Because it wasn't like
a focus.
I think the only thing, if I was able to counsel Josh, I would say just part of it is presentation, right? Yeah. Like when Chloe and I talked about it, it was more so like this makes sense, right? Like this is a sensible thing to do. So there was no, oh my gosh, how's someone going to react? But yeah, we did a post-nup.
Okay, that's good to know. But yeah, I think they're trying to make it a story for him because they led with, he has 500,000, whatever million in 3 years that he's making now. So I'm glad she reacted that way. So you have to dead it. There's no story to go. She didn't make a big deal like, oh, do you think we're about to not work out and all that? So good for them on that. But I hope she reads it, and I hope she does any amendments that needs to be done.
Yeah, clause. If you expect me to be home, in excess of 10 hours a day, compensation is needed.
Yep. All right. We are going to Chad and Belinda, the final wedding that they saved for last. Chad is 54, and I always joke like, in the intro package, everyone has to be doing some form of exercise. I'm still mad Will and Brittany didn't get one, but Chad's was archery. And Belinda is 47, and she's a hopeless romantic, just like her daughter, which by calculation means that she had her kids at 20. I mean, she had the first one at 19, but the twins, which is Jalen, 20. And she says there was a lot of infidelity on his part. I mean, he's an athlete and he's a baseball player, so it was there. And when I saw her getting ready and she was wearing the white dress, that's when I realized that they also cut out the bachelorette and bachelor party, because I was taking stock of all the things that were taking out, and I was like, she was probably headed for that. She says she has 3 kids. She's been single for 8 years, and she doesn't think that if it doesn't work out, you shouldn't try again. Some people were meant for 2 partners. Some people were meant for 3. And then J-Lo caught some strays, but J-Lo was meant for many. I was like, what did my girl do?
J-Lo did catch some strays. You're absolutely right.
And she's like, if she can do it, I can do it. I was like, oh, maybe don't include her in the conversation. That's a whole different thing over there. And she shouldn't have said that, because I think because she said some people were meant for 2 or 3 partners, they matched her with a man who has been married 3 times before. Now, why, experts, would we do that? Nothing about a man that's been married 3 times. No shade to him. I'm sure there were situations. Don't bring him here. That it's too risky. But also, when they were on the round table and they were doing what they do, patting themselves on the back, no one brought up the fact that he was married 3 times. I'm like, talk about it. That bothered me a lot.
Tane, this is a safe space.
Yes.
It feels, I'm gonna say, that you're not very thrilled with the experts.
Could you tell?
A little bit. Is now has this, I'm assuming this has developed and progressed over a period of time, or was it like a hard cut, like from here on I'm just not?
No. Oh, here's the thing. I always struggle, and I have to go back and forth with reality and also recognizing that it is a TV show. Because individually, like Pascal, I enjoy him. Dr. P, I enjoy each of them individually, and I do trust their expertise, side eye every now and then. But it's just, there's certain things to me that are so glaring. But if you want, and I like Belinda, and she's trying to have a start afresh, and you bring someone who's been married 3 times, at least walk us through the process thoroughly. And not just, I think they'll be good together. He brings out this and that, and then that's it. Like, no, I need more. So it's just every now and then they get my side eye. And this was one of them, because it hasn't been explained why they think this is the best they could do for her.
Mm-hmm. I think that's a fair concern, and shall I say criticism, because I was surprised to learn that he was married 3 times previously, and this would be his 4th. And like you, I mean, if I had to spin it, I would say, maybe there's this idea that he knows he's used up potentially a lot of goodwill on that regard. So he's going to be extra motivated to not only not have a 4th failure, but if you do it, this one's going to be advertised to everyone. Your first 3, that was on your own time. Now this 4th one is for public consumption. So maybe he'll be more motivated to do everything in his power to make it work.
I wish I could think that, but men always have the audacity, even when they shouldn't have the audacity. And the self-awareness doesn't usually come with the audacity. So
look, as a representative of men here, I can 100% agree that we definitely have the audacity.
So we shall see. Because a lot of times, and I think what's happening on reality shows is we get women who come on and are like, I'm committed to this. I want to do this. And I really want this to work. And the men are just like, it's a nice adventure. If it works, it works. If it doesn't, it is what it is. And, I had an episode. It was a list. It was very ready, done dirty. The brides that were done dirty. You did not make the list, Michael. Should I revisit the list?
Well, I was going to ask you if you thought I did Chloe dirty. I would respect your opinion in either direction.
I would say a little for decision day. It's just that there were people worse than you that saved you. But I'm still shocked that you said no, because you seemed so ready for marriage. So when you said no, I'm like, wait, then what could he be looking for? But I also understand sometimes that there's things that are not working out, and it doesn't make sense to say it on national television or to go into detail for things like that. And at the end of the day, I hope, what's best for you. So that's the only thing. But I was truly like, what is the issue? Did you just come here to have a good time? So, yeah.
I mean, I think that is a fair criticism. And if there's time at the end, I'll be more than happy to unpack that with you. But I think your overall concern about is it fair to say, like, not taking it as seriously as one should? Is that a best way to put it?
Yeah.
I think that's a fair concern. And to your point, I do think that is kind of accentuated by the fact that this guy's already had 3 divorces. And it probably doesn't help. Like Chad seems like a very easygoing guy, you know, at least initially here with the joking and kind of just, I mean, that's at least the vibe I got from him.
Yeah, that's fair.
So I can understand if that plays into your concerns.
Yeah. Well, I'll get into it. It's just joking. Oh, but he's been single for 3 years now. And he says that he seems to find folks that need fixing. Which, again, that's a ding for me. Because I'm like, when you come out seeming like, oh, you're the savior and the saint.
I will say this. It was, and again, I'm generalizing.
Yeah.
It was interesting to hear that perspective from a man. Because I feel like I hear that type of complaint more so from a woman when they saying like, oh, you know, I'm going to fix him, you know? Yeah. Mm-hmm. So it was, for me, it was interesting kind of observing that from a man's perspective.
Yes. And I think because it was from a man, that made it worse to me because my interpretation is completely different because did they even need fixing? Like, what was it? I need details. I need to be able to make an informed decision of me making judgments on this poor man. I don't know.
And so, to your point, again, just from a general standpoint, let's assume that this exists a little bit more from a woman's perspective in dating and so forth. Like that's something you can, if you talk with your friends, that they can empathize with. It's hard for me to imagine like talking to one of my guy friends and being like, yeah, you know, I just feel like I love these women that I need to fix. I feel like they'd say, well, you're crazy then.
To be fair, though, his sister said the same thing to her later on in the wedding. So, but again, is it a case of they saw it, they experienced it, or he told the story? And that's, you know, that's my brother. I'm going to go with that. Again, guys, I am judging him. I don't know him. It's just what I know so far. He says that he was in the military and that contributed to him always wanting to protect. If you were wondering, guys, he was reading a book. I did my due diligence. The book was called Warrior for Freedom, Challenge, Triumph, and Change, the Major Ed Pulido story. So, you know, I did it so you don't have to. You've been laughing at me.
I love that your audience can count on you to get into the meticulous details and you proactively be ready for such questions.
Oh, that's what happens when you're type A, blessing and a curse. And don't know when this was filmed though, but he had a wedding ring on already. So more than likely it was done afterwards, after they had already gotten married. So he says his default is being ready to protect. And you know, when someone's at a job interview and they say, what are your weaknesses? Oh, I work too much.
That's what you felt, huh?
That's what I felt.
That's the vibe you were getting.
I need to go easy on this guy.
Let me say this so that you know you feel validated.
Okay.
I did get a sense of that. My struggle was just as a human. He seemed like a really cool guy, like someone I would enjoy in real life. To your point, you know you've had 3 divorces. Like this is an opportunity to kind of humanize that. And you know, you probably whether it was majority your fault or not, you had some contribution to these not working. Like get out in front of that and you know state like these are the things I've learned that I could do better so that this doesn't become something bigger later on.
Yes. And I think that was another thing was like we had all this intro package and there was no, you know, self-reflection of like this is what happened. It's more, and then when you say I had people that needed fixing, it's like it's their fault. I didn't have anything to do with it. So that's kind of like what bothered me a lot about this. But I will just allow for the fact that maybe they're saving it for later down the road. I've watched MAFS long enough, they're not, but I will allow for that. So he says that he works in commercial real estate. He has a daughter and his daughter and best man show up to his house because that's what happens. Your parent gets married, you show up, Pat. They mentioned that his stubbornness is a thing, but he's generous and he has a sense of humor. She says she wants someone that's tall. She wants someone with meat on him and has a fun personality because she's silly. And he seems to have a good relationship with his daughter, which is good. And then we see Jalen and Josh at the hotel for the wedding. And they're pretty much like an old married couple. You couldn't tell that they just met the day before. She has a moment with Jalen, and Jalen is like, you know, from someone who experienced it, hold his hand, stay focused on him. I'm like, a girl gets married for one day, and now she has all of
expert alert. I have to say though, just logistically, if they, because all the weddings happen in a block, like one day after another. So I don't know how they had the strength to have their wedding and then attend that wedding the day after. Like we were zombies the next day, at least in my situation. So kudos to them for that.
I think my random thought was Josh had to immediately find another suit because I saw him dressed up and I was like, he didn't know he was having a wedding. Like, how did you rustle that up real quick? Good for you. Okay. They get to the altar. He's standing there and all he keeps saying is holy cow, holy cow, holy cow. And my question for you was, were you more nervous your first time or the second time around standing at the altar?
Oof. First time.
Okay.
First time around. Because everything was brand new. By the second time, like I was joking, like I've been here before. We just haven't gotten past this particular point, you know? But the first time I was way more nervous.
Did you think there was a chance you'd get dumped again?
No.
Okay.
Because I kind of fell into that thought experiment, right? Like there is no fucking way that they'll allow this to happen twice. Or if they do, then they'll just cut me completely and no one will know that I'm on the show.
Okay, that's fair. How do you bring this up in dating? Do you by the way, I went on a show, I got dumped at the altar, and then I got married again. Then I said no. And when does that even come up?
Well, luckily here in Denver, it seems like it's pretty public knowledge about what happened to me. But there have been scenarios where, and look, most of them haven't even watched the show in its entirety. They just kind of saw clips. But there have been a couple where they don't know. And I'll make sure to I find a way to try to joke about it. You know, like there'll be a lane, for example, you talk about X, Y, and Z, and maybe you're kind of talking about what you're consuming from a television perspective at the moment, right? Oh, I'm watching Love is Blind. Have you been watching it? And then that's a great segue to be like, well, just so you know, because I'll make a joke like, oh, those are my reality brothers and sisters. What do you mean by that? Let me walk you through something real quick.
Okay. Let me get specific, Michael, because I think you just got out of a situation recently.
Not too long ago, yeah.
How did that play out in that situation? Did she bring it up? Did you bring it up? Or?
Oh, well, in that particular situation, that's how she found out of my existence, was through watching the show. So so that was more like, tell me more about what happened.
Gotcha. Okay.
It wasn't like I had to build it from ground up.
Okay. So you respond to your DMs, Michael?
I do.
When they slide into the DMs?
But in fairness, that not just the ones that are sliding in. Anyone who takes the time to send something nice or thoughtful, I do my best to respond to them. And yeah, look, if you slide in, I'm not saying that there will not be a response, so.
You heard it, guys. He's single. He's gonna drop his ad at the end of this, okay? All right, back to seriousness. They get through the vows. He does ask, and then she says, yes, you can kiss me. And then they kiss each other, and you all know 5 for 5. This is great. I hate, don't kiss me on the cheek. But what? Ugh, no. So this is great. We got all couples, and they all kissed on the lips. So they sit down to do their, what I call champagne chat. And she does think that he's handsome and he looks kind, and so far so good. She tells him that she never planned to be here, which is why I'm thinking that phone call might be it from Pascal, but her daughter got on MAFS. So I'm like, surely, I don't want to believe it, but I'm leaning towards the fact that honestly, that call was it, Michael. So
I'll say this. I could see a world where Jalen maybe had put that out there, but her mom never actually followed through with anything.
Yeah.
So it maybe kind of spun off that.
Yeah, and I think she was just like the right age. It wasn't like she was like, they already had an older person with Rhonda, and she's like 47, and it's like, okay,
it's crazy when I think about it, because like I'm closer to age to Belinda than I am Jalen, but it'd be harder for me to imagine dating Belinda than Jalen, which maybe that's a problem I have, but I'm just saying.
Add that to the list.
But to be clear, they're both beautiful women.
They are. They really are. Okay, so it looks like he stood too long at the altar. I didn't even notice, but he's like, I stood long enough to get sunburned. So he's like all red all over his bald head. But he looks so nervous, and he's like, I don't know if she finds me funny or not. They take pictures, which is another thing we don't see anymore, like the whole with the family and friends. Their pictures are so awkward, but the good thing is she finds him funny, but she can't tell what he thinks about her.
Mm-hmm.
At the reception, she says, his humor is continuous. That is so kind. Like, she could have said anything.
Very nice way to put it.
It's continuous, which doesn't sound like a good thing, but she says she also wonders how much of it is nerves. Chad's daughter approves. She thinks that Belinda is like so kind, so gorgeous and stunning. And they're having conversation. And he asks her, do you fish? And she giggles, and I giggle too, because her giggling was like, do I look like I fish? Like, why would you even?
That's exactly what that was.
She's like, I'm girly. Like, I don't do that shit. So overall, their chat was nice. They were talking about a lot of things, and they each talked to their respective families, like him to the kids, she with his sisters. And that's when the sisters say he's been through a lot and is going to take a special person to break through the hurt. I don't really like that, but it's expected when you're that age. You've seen life, you've been through a lot of things, but just the way they were saying you have to chip through it. You don't have to work to meet halfway or something, for that to happen. She also finds out through the sisters that he's been married 3 times. He's talking to the kids and they're like, how many times? He's like, the jokes won't stop. He's like, 3 times. And he's like, I was unhappy. It was not an option for me to be unhappy. Still too vague. We need more details as to what happened with that. So they tell her that Chip just does the funny, but you have to go through the funny to get to the serious stuff. And the wedding is done. They go to the room. And when they get there, he's just like, can I kiss you? And I just thought that was cute. That was a likable moment for me from Chad.
It's about time that you have a likable moment.
I did. I had
coming at my guy Chad here.
They sit and they chit chat. She mentions her ring, and he was like, "We need to put some bling on it." And I'm like, "Okay." And they just have good banter. The producers ask him about sex. Of course, he's like, "I'm gonna respect whatever she feels or believes," which I thought was interesting, but okay. She says that she's comfortable and she can see where anything goes. Like anything can happen. She's DTF if that happens. So the next morning, they drive by a jewelry store and they're in the car, and he did make good on his word, and she got a new ring. And I'm confused, Michael, because does the show not pay for the ring?
No. Like our wedding gifts, they don't compensate us for the wedding gifts that we give the other person.
But like wedding band,
So the band, yes. You get a book. Mm-hmm. You have like X amount of rings that you could pick from for the other person. But they're very simple, basic, standard.
Yeah.
I interpreted that he wanted her to have like an engagement ring equivalent.
Yeah.
That's usually like,
the
big spend right there.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I mean, kudos to him. Like he said it.
I thought it was a power move right there. Like, yes. And I mean, the quick shot that they showed, like he didn't get her just some whatever ring.
Mm-hmm. Like there's nothing sexier than a man who does what he says he's going to do. So that's a brownie point for him. So Jayling is doing a selfie cam and talking about her mom's wedding and says she's getting closer to Josh. And she just slips out like, oh yeah, Josh and I had sex the night before and it was great. It was perfect timing. And that's good. How do selfie cams work for you guys? Do they tell you what to record, or do they say, if it feels like something you feel you want to share, just do it and we'll get the footage from you?
Yeah, so they give us a device to use and they'll tell us, look, anything that's relevant off camera, try to use this phone and like record it, or record your thoughts about it. Don't always wait for us to be there. Other times they will say like, hey, go ahead and record something about X, Y, and Z. For us, it was when we were going on our honeymoon, they really wanted us to capture a lot of that like selfie cam footage, right? Even like right when we got there, they'd be like, okay, well, before we get your thoughts on camera, go ahead, step to the side and record your initial thoughts together.
Okay, cool. All right, so that's the wedding done. Let's move on to the honeymoon. And it looks like the couples are meeting in the hotel lobby. And then reminder that the Bachelorette was edited out. They seem to know each other, but then we get the flashback of Pascal does like a voiceover, which he did afterwards. Because again, reminder for you guys, this was filmed for Lifetime before it was finally sold, and the editors are just doing the Lord's work on this for us. So they joke. I say this because I thought this was really funny. Like, can Josh call Chad dad? And Chad is like, no, I want him to call me Papa. that just made me laugh.
I like that one a lot. That's a good one.
They are headed to Panama for their honeymoon. I've been to Panama. It's great. Have you been?
No, I haven't.
Yeah, I'm glad for them. Like, they're actually going somewhere I don't think they've ever been in the history of the show before. So good for them. Pat, ever horny, sent a video to the group on how to join the Mile High Club. And only Chad and Josh seem interested. Brittany's just, my eyes. Oh, hell no, I don't want it. Would this be something you'd be interested in, Michael, if you got the video? Would you be like, challenge accepted, or just be like, this guy?
Yeah, it would depend on what the status of the plane was, like how full it was. But in general, yeah, if I had a willing partner, I'd see if we can make that happen.
Michael, the plane bathrooms are disgusting. They're so gross. That is my only thing about, like, it's doable, it's possible, it's disgusting. And it depends when you go. Is it towards the end of the flight? Is it the beginning of the flight?
We're knocking that out in the beginning. We're setting the tone early. Before that bathroom can get defiled, all right? So
exactly.
We're going to defile it. Okay. I want everyone else to hesitate going in there because they know we were in there.
Guys, get into those DMs. Look what you can get.
I don't know if I'm marketing myself in a positive way there, but if so.
Giving you free ads over here. Okay, so Jalen and Josh are like, we are going to do this before them. And then they do say that they completed the challenge, but I don't know who's joking or not. So I can't tell if they did or not. They get to their rooms. Megan apparently is obsessed with hammocks, and she's so excited. She's like, I'm going to be here 24/7. This is my thing. Brittany tells us, like, I'm going to do something cute for my husband. Here's lingerie. Hopefully he appreciates it. I'm like, okay, we're headed in the good direction. And no, womp womp. Next thing we see is another weird interaction. She's sitting on the bed. He gets on the bed. They're staring at each other. And she's like, well, she's on the balcony doing her, I don't know, flyaways, is that what you guys call it, or confessionals? And she says they had sex. And then it was like, oh, crap. Did we take all the necessary precautions? And she wasn't focused on it, but he was like, you seem so worried. Maybe we shouldn't do this again. I have a question for you. What is the condom situation on the honeymoon? In past seasons, I've seen it on the wedding night. They've had it in the bathrooms. We've seen it in the background. And I did a rewatch of season 9 recently, and I know Keith brought his own condoms to the honeymoon. Are you in charge of that for yourself, or do they bring that for you, or how does that work?
If they brought it for me, they never told me. So no one notified me that we had that kind of access to things on hand. So that was all on us.
Yeah, and your honeymoon was kind of different too.
Yeah, it was in beautiful Colorado Springs, right down the street. You want to talk about feeling gypped?
Well, I mean,
go to lovely. Would they go Cabo or Cancun? You know, me and Chloe were regulated to an hour and 15 minutes from the city.
And then you have to go for like the couples retreat in like 2 days and drive them.
Exactly.
Sorry about that.
No, you're not. No, you're not.
It's funny. I lived through it. I watched it. My entertainment. So she said things got weird, and she's just wondering if he was regretting it. And I don't know how I feel about this. He says he was confused. Okay, he comes to talk about her. I'm just going to state everything that happened, and then we'll talk about how he felt. He says he was confused on how to carry on the night after we got closer. I'm like, what in the Lifetime language is this? Because he felt responsible. She says, yeah, we got closer. And you're saying like we should slow down. It's not what I want to hear from my husband. I wanted more reassurance, and whatever happens, we can work on that together. And instead there was like regret and distance. And then I got triggered. She shares that she doesn't do well when people are pulling away from her because she had a situation with her ex. Everything was fine. As a refresher, remember she says she never makes it beyond the 3-month mark with guys. And he was just like, yeah, maybe we should pull away. And then, he broke up with her. He says it's only been a few days and they're getting to know each other. Maybe they should take their time with that. And she's like, cool. And I'm like, ooh, when a woman tells you cool, it's not good. She says she didn't sign up to be married, to pull back on her honeymoon. I'll pull out. And she will go at his pace. Michael, I'm being serious here. But
I could tell. I could tell.
At his face, but she's irritated and she's feeling crappy. And that's how episode 3 ends. And I'm confused because I don't understand how the solution is, let's just stop having sex. Okay. Like, there are other forms of birth control. There's plan B. What was your take on this whole situation?
Well, there's a fair amount to unpack. I actually have a question for you, though, before we fully get into my take. If I remember correctly, and I think you felt the same way, on our season, when Emily had disclosed that she hadn't been in a serious relationship, you considered this a flag, correct?
Yes.
Do you consider the same flag for Brittany, who's effectively saying, I have never been in a long-term relationship?
Okay. I addressed this in episode 2, the recap for that, because it is it is a flag. I don't know why hers is different. It is because I just watched season 9. And on season 9, Deanna is on there. And Deanna had not had a relationship for 10 years. But she also came with lessons learned over the 10 years. And it worked out. And she's with Greg. They're together with a kid now. And it just seemed very different. I think there are other things. I think with Emily, it didn't seem like, with the lack of relationship, there were other things that also needed to be worked on. I don't know Brittany well enough, but in this case, I don't think it's a lack of relationships, because my co-host pointed out that the 3-month mark is still some kind of relationship. It's because I thought it was a situationship, but they saw it as it was an actual relationship. I think what is playing more of a factor now is just past trauma at this point. Is just what more than lack of relationships. Thanks for calling me out. But okay,
I'm just wondering. Now to my thoughts, because I do think it plays a role in this regard.
Okay.
It is hard for me to imagine how many different type of challenging discussions you have had if you've never made it beyond 3 months. I get that it may be kind of a recurring one you've had. And I will say I'm probably a little biased in the fact that what effectively seems to be a pregnancy scare. I mean, that's what everything's pointing to. I can understand, and we both seem to share this Achilles heel of like, how do we dress this up when we say it, or when we're trying to navigate it. So I think the combination of panic and not knowing how to express it verbally can really throw things a tilt. But even with that said, I think it felt like she was overreacting more from just the expression of it. I do agree that, look, you don't just shut down sex from there. When does that ever work? Number one. But I think that was more, what I really think that part was whatever happened between us in that moment turned us off, or at least turned one person off. So now saying that isn't really that big of a deal, because now if we're going to have sex again, we're going to have to kind of recapture that initial being able to turn each other on.
Yeah. I want to say she was overreacting, but I understand where she's coming from. And I think the biggest culprit is they just don't know each other. That's where it comes in handy when you know each other, because she's looking for reassurance. Remember when she said, oh, I don't want to have sex. He's still a stranger. That should be applied here too. He's not going to know that that's a trigger. It's one thing when someone does something, she wanted that reassurance, understood, but he doesn't know that that's a trigger. Another person could be like, what are you talking about? Pull all the way back. Because the other question would be, what makes you say pull all the way back? We don't know if he has an experience or if something's going on that made him say that, because to me, that's extreme. That's very extreme. It could also be like he didn't enjoy it and he's trying to find a way.
That's true. That
for
could
that.
be it too.
So that there's that. So, but I think she's picking up on something. The same way I couldn't tell, are they attracted to each other? Does it work? And I don't know if it's a situation where they were thinking, let's have sex and see if there's something there. I don't know. There's just so many things we don't know.
So you don't feel that Will's attracted to Brittany, or it's still a question to you? Because I have that question inversely. Like in the beginning, especially the beginning part.
Yeah.
Like I wasn't sure if she was attracted to him.
Yeah.
Or at least it seemed very clear.
Yeah.
At least to me, that he was attracted to her. And I didn't feel that clarity with her towards him.
I felt the same way for both of them. He was saying it a lot, but it wasn't matching. The only time I kind of felt like, okay, maybe there's something was when they were going to the honeymoon. I saw them kissing in the airplane, and I was like, oh, okay, something seems to have developed. And then now she wants to have sex with him and wear lingerie for him. So I'm like, okay, so maybe it is mutual. And then this happened, and I'm like, okay, here we go again. I don't know what is. We've had a season where they weren't getting along, the Atlanta season, and it sounds terrible, but Haley had sex with Jake just to see if something was there, and there just wasn't anything there. And it's just such a tough situation, because I hope not. No one's going to say, well, the sex sucks, so I don't want to do anything else with you. So no one's going to say that. And you're going to dance around with so many words, and we don't know what it is. But on the flip, Will has a way with words. He's very, I don't know, direct and very methodical. So maybe she was just looking for someone who's more, I don't know, warm, affectionate. I don't know. And he's just practical. Like
maybe a softer place to land. She's maybe looking for a softer place to land.
Yes.
May I pose another question to you, Tane?
Yes.
Do you feel like historically there are a lot of scenarios where someone is claiming to be attracted to the person they're matched with, but they're not attracted to them? Do you think that happens more times than not?
No. They're usually very vocal, like, I don't find them attractive. And it's like, why are you saying this? There's more, I'm not attracted to them. I can't think of a time where someone has said I'm attracted and they don't really. Do you have any?
Oh, no. So I'm just saying, I think I'm citing that to then say, it sounds like with Will, your hesitation is just the way he comes off. As opposed to like this being something habitual with MAFS, where someone is saying they're attracted, and maybe they're even kind of double downing on that, but then it gets cleared up later that they're not.
Yeah, it's just a Will situation. And again, I could be wrong, because again, he is saying all the right things, that her dimples and she's pretty, and I can see why you think that, he's very attracted to her, but I don't know. I don't know why I'm not 100% on that, but I hope they get over it. I wish she didn't just go the cool route. I understand it. I have done it. It is not advisable, but I wish she had just expressed, like, we don't have to go all the way there. I would like to experience this with you. I just, we're getting to know each other. Like, maybe we can find a middle ground, something. But, that she's protecting herself, and she's just like, you know what? I knew it. I shouldn't have had sex. I hope there's not regret on her end too. Going back to what you said, it's 2025, and we should be able to do whatever we want. But as a woman in society, those judgments still stand. So I hope she doesn't regret. She didn't do anything wrong, So there's a lot that I don't know. I haven't watched episode 4 yet to know how it plays out. But I think there's just a lot of emotions that they don't know how to navigate because they don't know each other at this moment.
And I think that's kind of the key to it, right? It's hard, I think, in the moment to give that slack to the other person because you're so emotionally charged in it. But to your point, if you can take that moment to kind of step away, you're both in the same boat, that you're actively learning so much in such a short period of time.
Yeah. It's just a lot of expectations that you got to give time for. Okay, this was very fun,
I enjoyed it too. See, I know you were worried about having me on, but I'm glad. I hope I quelled those concerns.
Jury's out. I don't know. Can you share with people anything, where they can find you, anything you want them to know that can support you and all that?
Well, yeah, as you were advertising earlier, if you'd like to slide on through, I'm mostly active from a social media perspective on Instagram. I could be found at @_Mikey_is_here_. I will give the warning. Most of the insight that I give on my life is revolving around my animals, my travels, and then anything randomly in between. So it's not earth-shattering stuff, but you'll get that at least.
Or getting painful tattoos.
Oh, that is true. Oh, look at you paying attention. Yes. Or getting traditional hand tap tattoos. Correct.
Yes. Okay. You know where to find me, guys. It's Alpha Call MAFS on all of the social handles. If you want to send me an email, just add @gmail.com to that. Please subscribe so you don't miss out on any episodes. And please give me a 5-star rating on Spotify and on Apple Podcasts. And stay tuned for the recap for episode 4 coming soon. Until next time, bye, guys.